Thank you so much. Now is our time of meditation, so I invite you to get things off of your lap and get your feet firmly planted on the floor. We're just going to let the chair support us. As if you're comfortable, close your eyes. We'll take a couple of deep breaths in and let it go. Again. As you breathe deeply, you can feel your shoulders relax. Your body becomes still. There's no place you have to go, nothing you have to do. Right here, right now, we can just be present in this moment. Breathing in and breathing out. That beautiful breath of God that breathes us, centers us, calms us. I invite you now to bring into your memory one of the most fun days that you can ever remember in your life. Maybe you were on a vacation, or maybe you were playing with a friend. That time when you're doing something that you're so in the zone that time just flies by. So now when you think about this thing, it should bring a smile to your face because it makes you happy. This thing that you love brings that feeling of joy into your heart. And as you're breathing in and out, and you're thinking of this joyous time in your life, your heart begins to expand with love and light. And that joy is filling you. It's raising your vibration. It is breathing you now. And as you feel that, it expands out of your beingness, and it encompasses everyone that's sitting around you. Anyone that's near you, anyone that's in this space, in this place. Wherever you are, joy is. God is, because you are an individualized expression of God, and you came here to express that joy. So I invite you to feel it, to allow it to fill your heart, and to let it expand out past the boundaries of the space that you're in, so that it encompasses everyone in our state, in our country, in our world. And now as we go into a brief moment of silence, I invite you to see the entire planet completely surrounded by a light of joy in the silence. This joy is part of your inheritance. It is one of your gifts that you were born with, that is always with you, but sometimes we forget because the life happens, things come up, and we forget that joy is our nature. To have that feeling and to express it is one of the reasons that we're on this planet. And so I invite you to experience that, to allow that. so grateful to know our spiritual gifts and that this is one of them. We say thank you, indwelling Spirit, for this sweet time of remembrance. And now we bring our focus back into the room. And whenever you're ready, open your beautiful eyes. So I know this is just the beginning of Advent Joy Week, but I personally have been experiencing it since last Saturday, because last Saturday we celebrated my youngest granddaughter Raylan's first birthday. I can't believe that a whole year has gone by, and what a great bundle of joy she is to our family, and how fun our party was. And then I went from that extreme of a 1-year-old to celebrating the birthday of Charlene Kelly, who turned 95. And I want you to know she is still as positive as she's always been. She always has a smile on her face. She's grateful for her life, grateful for her family. She lives joy. Do you see? 1 and 95 makes no difference. And everybody in between can be that, right? There is no age limit to our joy. It is a choice. And so the difference is, I think, that we started out like Raylan. We started out just living in the present moment, just going moment to moment. They don't worry about the future. They don't worry about the past. They're just living for getting their needs met right now, right? They're just in the present moment. And then we're like that when we're young, and we just can't wait for Christmas. It seems like it's just never going to get here. When you're a kid, just like, oh my God, when is it going to be Christmas? And then you take it to adulthood, and then we're like, oh my God, it's almost Christmas. And we're looking at our to-do list, and we blink, and a week goes by, and we're thinking, oh my God, I should have gotten so much more done, right, in this week to get ready for Christmas. So what are we doing? We're shoulding on ourselves. We should do this, we should do that, right? And then, you know what happens? We forget our joy. We get so caught up in the gotta do this, gotta do that, So we have to think a little bit differently about that. So how do we find that feeling of joy when the world that we're looking at and reading about and seeing on the news feels everything but that? How do we find that? How do we rekindle that? Well, if we really come to the realization and can be able to claim that divinity that is already ours, we can experience the world differently. We don't have to see anything and label it as bad. We can choose to see it as it's just what it is. It's life. It's experience. We're learning things. Some of us are getting all kinds of character building experiences in our life. Are we? Okay, God, I've got enough character. Thank you very much. But this is how it is. It gives us a different way to look at things, and how wonderful it actually is to claim that we're individualized expressions of the one. It completely changes it, and it can unravel that inner joy in us as we again birth that new consciousness, that new awareness of the Christ that is born in us. That's what we're celebrating. This is the real reason for the season. We're awakening to that Christ consciousness that is already in us and remembering who we are, remembering how precious and special each and every one of us is. So if you want more joy in your life, then you have to put more joy into it, right? You have to cultivate it. You see my little sign? You have to cultivate joy, right? How do we do that? It's principle 3 in unity. So 1 is God is, I am. And the third one? I think. What are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? Where are you putting your attention? If you're thinking about what you don't have, or what you don't want, or how you don't like your circumstances, guess what? That's what you're going to get more of. So we want to focus on the good that is already here. We want to live in the present, focus on the good, and the more you use it, the more it becomes you, the more you draw it to you, because you see, it lightens burdens and it counteracts sorrow and it lessens depression when you know who you are and you know that you're this child of God. So don't postpone your joy, not for another moment. Focus on it. Sing a new song of joy. You know, singing is one of the best ways to raise our vibration, to find joy. And it's easier to follow that when we're in that joy mode. It's easier for us to hear Spirit trying to guide us and direct us and help us move through our lives. So we let go of those beliefs that support sadness, that support limitations, because there are no limitations in God. There are no limitations because God's Spirit is alive in you every moment of every day. So you can be eternally in joy if you choose it, no matter what the appearance in the outside world is. You have to choose it. So joy is your gift from God, and you're here in this incarnation to bring it into full expression. And so I believe another way that we cultivate joy is by appreciating what we already have, by being grateful for what's in our life, all the good that we already have, our health, our families, our friends, all the good that we see around us all the time. We choose to focus on that good in our lives, and if we pay attention, we see that the joy that Jesus inspired in his life was meant for us. He was trying to teach us that we too have that in us and we can express it. We live from that joy that is already within us. So this Christmas story, I don't care if it's over 2,000 years old, it is relevant to us today. Every single one of us. It's relevant because we need to feel hope in our hearts, don't we? And it is the hope that motivates us to understand faith and to move forward in faith in our lives. We have to take chances. We have to trust, don't we? And that faith is what helps us move forward. So we become like a child again. We begin to see things moment by moment. Instead of worrying about the future or thinking about the past, we see like a child with wonder and awe. You know how everything for them is a first. Everything is a first, and they're taking it in. They're watching, they're paying attention, they're learning. So when we do this, we feel ourselves drawn into the story of the host of the angels, of the bright star of the manger in the stable. We feel it within ourselves. Can you feel your vibration lifting as you increase your joy compass? You can feel it when you allow it to be your MO, how you're operating in life. You allow it to be that. So it wasn't always this way for Jesus. I mean, he was born into a time where they lived God-fearing lives. There was a God in the sky, and he was judging everybody, and that's what Jesus was born into. But he was born into that so he could tell us that there's a different way of being. He grew up to teach us to shine our own lights. He said, the Father and I are one. And he didn't mean just he, Jesus. He meant all of us. The Father and I are one. It doesn't get much clearer than that. This reminds us that we're strong and we're capable. We're not weak. We are not weak. We are strong, capable people, and we are not victims of our circumstances because we're mighty. We are mighty, and we co-create our lives with God. I want you to hear these words when I tell you this. There is no separation between God and us. No separation, ever. Only ignorance and lack of awareness that keeps us from knowing our limitless capacity. When it is said that you are the temple of God, it means literally you are the temple of God, not figuratively, literally. You're the temple of God. Wow, take that in for just a moment. Because remember, anything that stirs up and heightens our awareness of the one will stir up that joy in our divine nature. Just the word joy itself has a hum to it. It just sort of hums with vibration. There is a magic in joy that makes every cell of our body thrill with it. Every cell. So for many people, the holidays, they bring up unresolved grief, losses, things that have happened during the year that make us feel sad. And it's important to acknowledge these feelings. We don't ever want to push that away. The feelings will come up. We encourage you to acknowledge those feelings. But I also believe in my heart of hearts that there is no death. There never is. There's a death of a physical body, but our souls live on. And so we know these loved ones of ours that we have lost are moving in their new expression, living and enjoying their lives. And so it helps us to know that that love lives forever. That love never dies. That love that we experienced with those beings goes on forever and ever. But we can choose to transform our tears of sadness. We can choose to transform them into rainbows when we're focusing on radiating our joy, because we know we are divine first and foremost. You know, it's such a joy to give. I love Christmas. I love shopping and buying presents for everybody. I just love it. And when we give of ourselves, we allow our uniqueness and love to shine on others' paths. I read a thing just recently by William Jones that said, the joy of brightening others lives because, the joy of brightening others' lives becomes for us the magic of Christmas. Isn't that what it's all about? When we brighten someone else's life, it brings us joy. And there we go, raising our vibration again. There's so many kindnesses and things that happen at Christmas time that should happen. I think we should extend it and do it the year round. We tend to do all these beautiful things, and then the first of the year we go back and live our lives the way we were. But there's so much kindness around Christmas time, and I'd like to see us extend it. I read a story by Reverend Margie Flick the other day. She made a complete recovery after a near-death experience. And this is what she said. Joy can be a connection with other people, with nature, with other beings. It is the wonder, the delight, the welling up of loving energy so that we feel our connection to God in all of its forms. That brings forth the light of the soul as joy. It can be the joy of the first snowfall, the first signs of spring, the birth of a child, the stars at night. It is seeing the miracle of life and celebrating it. Okay, enough preaching. It's time for a joke. So there was this little boy, and his father asked him what he wanted for Christmas, and he said he really would like a baby sister. Well, it would just so happen that his mother was expecting, and on Christmas Eve, she went in and delivered a baby girl. On Christmas Day, she brought it home. Everybody was really happy, And then the little boy looked at his mom and he said, "Next year," the boy said, "if it wouldn't make Mommy too uncomfortable, I'd like a pony." Did you like it, AJ? So I want to close today. I'm glad you liked it. James Dillett Freeman, the poet laureate for Unity, said this: "May there always be room in your heart for divinity to find birthing place. May you be holy as the angels were, humble as the cattle were, wise as the wise men were. May you have the compassion Mary had and the understanding that Joseph had. And may the blessing of the Christ child be yours, not because of his birth night long ago, but because his love is born in you today." Merry Christmas, everyone. Namaste.